we need to talk because my FYP was blowing up with content about Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco, and then Dwight Howard, Amy Luciani, Royce Reed. And if you don't know what I just said, what happened with Selena was they posted all of these videos. They had a couple of friends over that are a couple. I don't know if they're married or not, but there's all of these clips from their visit together. There was some pretty cringy content, but the most cringy moment was Benny Blanco was sitting on the couch in front of Selena, who was sitting on the floor. He had his foot out, his bare foot out in front of her. She leaned forward and kissed his bare foot. So many people are losing it in the comments because they're like, did Selena Gomez forget she's Selena Gomez? And they're like, Selena's the prize. Like, Selena, don't forget that you're the prize. And then with Dwight Howard, I guess he started dating somebody or started talking to somebody like in January of last year. Fast forward 6 months later, they were married, I think is the gist of what's happened. So that's 8 months ago. And like the current wife, Amy, went on a rant. And now that we've had time to sort through and think about everything that was in that post, people are kind of like, I think she was skiing. Like, she was skiing heavily. And Royce Reed is the ex-wife of Dwight Howard. But here's the thing. I think what happened was CPS got called. And I think also what happened is that Amy discovered that Dwight has been having DL relationships with men. And something about this call from CPS, Dwight, I think she's accusing him of framing the daughter to take the fall so that he doesn't get in trouble with CPS or the law. And there's a clip of that where I think Amy is accusing Dwight of that. Anyways, it was wild. But the moment that everybody is talking about the most is not only that, didn't Royce warn you? Didn't Royce tell you that Dwight was like this and to not get involved, and you blew her off? But then also, the wildest moment of the video is in this chaotic tirade that Amy is going off on. She reaches over to the passenger seat of her car and she holds up this gallon Ziploc bag that is filled with, I don't know, it's a good several or more ounces of loose powder. And then she she sets it down and she reaches in and pulls out this metal container, unscrews the lid, and she dumps this powder, white powder, into her hand. She's like, this is what I'm losing him to. And she shows it, but then she dumps it. And when she does, she makes sure to dump it back into the Ziploc bag. So a lot of people are like, I think this is what they've been doing together the whole time. And there's a lot of clips that are going on around it. But anyways, this whole week I've also been thinking about my dating history and how it feels like a lot of times really well put together women will often make a dating choice or even marry somebody that everybody's like, WTF? Are you okay? And I know that I have an embarrassing history of people that I've dated. But I was really thinking about it because I'm like, is it a mental health thing? In some ways, it does feel like that. But in other ways, it feels like there's something else to it. For as chaotic and wild as what's happening with Royce and Amy Luciani with Dwight Howard, there's still a similarity. There's still some sort of connection there in terms of why this happens. And I think that what happens, because especially with Selena Gomez and the whole Justin Bieber versus Benny Blanco thing, the way that I see it, the way that it unfolded with me, is that in those relationships, my ex-boyfriend before my husband, he was so attractive, and he was the kind of man that I knew that if I wasn't physically present with him, even if I left the room and came back, women would be throwing themselves at him. He was just magnetic. It's weird because even if I look at him now, I'm like, yeah, he's cute, but he's not it's a strange phenomenon that women see him and are just instantly gotta have it, and they will shoot their shot. So many times I would come back and then they'd be like, oh, you're not single, but he loved all of that attention. So he a lot of times not only wouldn't shut it down, but and that was the reason why I left him, was because he did cheat on me quite a lot. So I think that in that way, Selena has a similar wound. And that's what finally clicked for me, is that I don't think it's so much about like a reflection of our mental health, but a reflection, or kind of like it's showing us what our wound is. It's not that we choose somebody who's less attractive because those less attractive people are like more deeply in love with us or make us feel more free, but rather it feels like it's solving a wound that we carry. And essentially, we've been burned by somebody who is obviously desirable, charismatic, and like attractive, not like in the way that they look, but in the way that people interact with them. They're attractive to other people and people are drawn to them, I guess is the way I'm trying to say it. We get tired of competing with the world. We get tired of competing with other women. We get tired of competing for attention. And with ourselves, we stop trusting the way that we present and our status, and like the idea that's enough to make us magnetic, because we like our men still cheat on us. Like I was in much better shape, etc. I thought I was a relatively attractive person at the time, but it was just like, but granted, that man has never been loyal, and he still isn't to this day. So I think what happens when we move on to the next partner, we choose somebody who's not as conventionally attractive, and especially not as chased after by other people. I think that we're choosing somebody who's like less externally threatening. It doesn't mean that it's healthier. We just perceive it as less threatening. And I think we make those choices in the hopes that like this means that they won't be selfish. They won't be all of the things that hurt us and all of the things that we didn't get and wanted in the prior relationship. But the problem is that like men don't move like that. Men don't think like that. They don't operate like that, because even some of the most unattractive men will still be selfish. They will still be disloyal. They will still be entitled. They will still be cruel, humiliating, and like in the worst cases, sometimes like parasitic. They will live off of you and everything, all of your goodness and everything that you have to give, to the point that like they deplete you, to the point that they defeat you. And it's just like, I think to some degree, when we make choices like what we're seeing happening with Benny Blanco and Selena Gomez, I think we make our choices based off of our fear and exhaustion and like a sense of low self-worth, maybe, I don't know, but it's like trauma. We're making our choices based off of our past trauma, wanting to feel chosen and not feel like we're being compared to others, and like we don't have to perform for the love. But it can, like, I think from the outside it still does look confusing, because I don't know, like Benny Blanco, I still am just like, girl. She said in one of the clips that like he's the love of her life, but I'm like, I don't feel like it is. But I'm an outsider, so I don't know. I don't know. What do you think? I just like there's something there, and I can't quite birth the brain baby. So help me out.